All right, everybody knows that the price of food is going way, way up. It's hard sometimes to figure out what you're going to do, what you're going to have. Different recipes call for different ingredients. And I know for years that you've heard that it's cheaper to buy like chicken with the skin on and the bone in, but you don't like it or your recipe calls for boneless, skinless. So it's easy enough to do this at home. These are chicken thighs, and I got these at my local deli, my meat guy, for 99 cents a pound. So rather than the $3 they want for boneless, skinless chicken breasts for the two recipes I use it for, I can do this at home. I don't like to if I don't have to because I'm lazy, but it's easy enough to do. Basically, the skin will just pull right off. Okay, now it just came right off. And this I will put in a bag and in the freezer. And when I go to make chicken stock, this is what goes in the pot to make the stock along with all the bones and everything else. So, all right, in the chicken thigh, there is only one bone right here. It runs right here. So, you take your knife, make sure it's sharp, and be careful. And you cut right down one side of that bone. And then you cut right down the other side of that bone. Don't cut through. Then fold it with the bone sticking one way and the meat on the other side. And just cut. One boneless, skinless chicken thigh. So, simple enough to do, takes a few minutes, 99 cents a pound as opposed to $3.29, $2.89, whatever they want, even for the big packs now. Chicken has just gone off the charts and it's only going to get worse. So if you can buy it like this and then you can use all the bones and the skin and the fat that you cut off to make your own homemade chicken stock, that isn't hard, that isn't expensive. You know, the chicken parts, a couple of vegetables, some water, put it on the stove. In 2 hours you have homemade chicken stock. So I just thought I'd show you this because I've got about 5 or 6 of them here that I need to do, and I just wanted to just try to help. No. Good luck. I went to put the chicken parts, the skin and the bones that I just cut off that chicken, in the freezer, and I realized that I had another bag in there. These are wing tips from the last time I made wings. So since I had this all together, why not make the chicken stock now and then I can just do it all together. All right, I have a 6.5 quart stock pot here. I also have a gallon of water here. And I have, this is really easy. And I have cut up carrots, onion, and celery. Now, when you make a stock, this is a great place for you to use all those celery leaves that come in the middle of the celery bunch. This is where all the flavor is, and it adds a ton into this stock. So, pretty simple. Gonna add all the chicken. And I don't worry about this being frozen. I'm gonna boil it. It will thaw. Add all the chicken. Put all of this in here. And you don't have to chop this up. You just have to chunk it all because you're gonna take it all out at the end. You're gonna strain this. All of this is gonna come out. And this is going to be a clear-ish chicken stock. If I was making Italian wedding soup, I would be putting, this would be a good place for me to use those basil stems that I threw out, and also to use all that basil and the oregano that I've frozen, but I'm not doing that. I can add that if I decide to do this. This I just want to have in my freezer, ready to go. All right, so everything's in the pot. I'm just gonna put all this water in there. Okay, and I'm going to put this on like a medium. I'm not going to try to bring it to a boil real fast because it will just spill all over my stove, and I'm not doing that. Just gonna cover it, and I'm gonna turn the stove on to just a medium and keep an eye on it until it starts to boil. I'm not putting any salt in it right now because, why? Because it will make marks in the bottom of my pan. You should always wait until the water boils before you add salt, so like if you're making pasta or anything like that, because the salt, it won't damage the pan, but it can leave spots in your pan that you will never get out. And it doesn't mean anything. It didn't do anything. It's just the reaction of the metal with the salt. So if you wait until the water boils before you add the salt and stir it in, and it dissolves instantly, and you don't have to worry about spots in your pans. So I'm going to let this sit, and it's going to come to a boil. When it does, I'll be turning it down to a simmer, and then I'm just going to let it go practically all day long. And then I'll shut it off, let it cool, strain it, put it in the containers, drop it in the freezer. And then when I need chicken stock, when I'm making jambalaya, when I'm making, excuse me, the tandoori chicken, if I want to make the Italian wedding soup, I can just pull one of these out and I'll be ready to go. So we are back, and this has been going for, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. It is completely done. And what I'm going to do now is take out all of these vegetables and all this chicken and all this other stuff that I threw in here. So I have my trusty little spider here because I am not going to mess with splashing this right now because it is still very, very hot. So I'm just going to get out what I can, which will be most of it, and there'll still be bits and pieces. But just want to get 90%, 99% of this out of here. Because then, I'm going to show you. Oh, I'm not going to show you. Just let it sit here off the heat, and I'm just going to let it cool. When it gets cool enough, I will strain it again, and I will put it in another bowl. And then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator once it's cool enough to go in there. And what will happen is that all of the oil and fat and grease in here will separate from the liquid and will solidify on the top. And I will be able to take that off and make this very, very low fat. All the flavor, lot less fat. Now you can use it like this. You can, let it cool and put it in a container and, use it just like this. You can. But I like to make mine just a little bit cleaner. Okay, so we've got about everything out of there. And I've got about a gallon. Now this will just throw that all away because it's now used up. And I've got just about a gallon of golden chicken stock. Well, like I say, I'm just going to let this cool until I can manipulate it. And then I'm going to strain it once more through I have a fine sieve colander. It's beautiful. I'll show it to you. And it will go into another bowl, and then I'm just going to let it cool off until that basically, when it goes in the refrigerator, all that will all separate, and that oil disc will solidify in the refrigerator, and I'll be able to take it out and then just lift that whole disc off, dispose of that, or it's chicken fat, you could put it away and use it to cook with. You can drop it in the freezer. I know, freezer, but we need to think about conserving food here. And then I will have basically a fat-free chicken stock. And I left my stove on. So, just going to cover this, going to sit on the back of the stove and just, chill out, literally chill out. And when I'm ready to strain it again, and I'll show you that cool colander I have, and we will get this all packed up and ready to go. Okay, here we are. This is cooled off. This is the stock. I've got the bowl in the sink, and I told you I would show you this. This is my fine sieve colander. This thing is great. You can see how tiny all those holes are. But the best thing about it is it has legs on it that open up like this. And it goes right over the top of my sink like that. So I can pour things into the bowl over the sink, not make a mess, and I don't have the colander sitting in the bowl. So all I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to strain this. Let's see what else is in here. There we go. So I didn't quite get everything out, and I did get some of the rest of the vegetables out of there. So, and I think what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put some of it in the containers and freeze it as full fat, and half of it I will put it in the fridge and let that solidify and take that off and make it low fat. But that's it. Chicken stock, all done. Sorry about that. All I have to do is put it in the containers and get it going. So, and then when I need it, it's ready. So this is how easy it is to make this. They want $2, $3 a quart for this stuff in the stores. You can make it at home with stuff you're going to throw away, like the skin and the bones and the chicken wing tips. So, just, you know, a way to save a little bit of money if you have the storage space. So, give it a try. Let me know.